Selena Gomez really started coming into her own as an artist in 2015 with her album Revival. Even though she's had 6 albums with the inclusion of the album she had with her band, Selena fans will most likely correct you and say she only has 2 true solo albums. That's because all the albums she did under Disney, she didn't have much creative control over the sound or image. And that applies to her first solo album Stars Dance in 2013 as well. Most of her fans and Selena herself see Revival as her true debut. It is a nice pop record. With the release of Good For You, Selena instantly shed her good girl image. The song wasn't only a landmark in Selena's image, but also her sound. It was the song that would really establish her now signature whispery, breathy, and sometimes talkative vocal delivery. With the help of Charli XCX, Selena landed one of her most catchy and emotive top 5 hits, with Same Old Love. Even though this album was the first album where she felt truly at home, what's so shocking about all of this is Selena doesn't really feel like this album was fully her. She sat down in an interview with Allure magazine and revealed that she felt pressured to go in a more sexual direction. I just did things that weren't really me. There was pressure to seem more adult on my album, Revival. I felt the need to show skin. I really don't think I was that person. Now this was a bit surprising to me because even though her image was a bit more sexual, it felt like a natural progression for her, and that she was comfortable, but it just goes to show you never truly know what's going on behind the scenes, especially when it comes to the curation or direction of an album. But the upside is, I think Rare is an album Selena fully envisioned, and she got to say whatever she wanted and felt like. And she got to speak her truth instead of feeling pressured to do something she's not fully comfortable with. In other news, there is something else that I wanted to cover, and that is 6ix9ine and his new album Tattletale's flopping. 6ix9ine is an artist that is cocky and very full of himself, but it appears that his antics are finally running out, and people are genuinely sick of him. Now I could tell that this was happening because if you check his recent releases on Spotify, every song's streams gets progressively lower. Gooba's success was primarily fueled by his release from jail. Troll's success was primarily fueled by Nicki Minaj and her dedicated fans. Take the initial shock of him getting out of jail away and another star's support, and you see that his hype isn't all that it's cracked up to be. 6ix9ine is more infamous rather than famous solely for his music, so when people get tired of his gimmicks, he truly has nothing else to fall back on. And to be honest, if Nicki didn't collaborate with him, it would have sped this process up, because he wouldn't have had such a huge backing of someone else's star power. But that's said and done. His album was predicted to do over 100,000 sales first week. Instead, it debuted with 53,000 units. His original predictions were around 150,000 sales, and like his streams, the predictions just got progressively lower until the real numbers hit. There was talk that the bundles for this album got rejected by Billboard, but Billboard says differently. It says that his album was supported by an array of merchandise and album bundles, so 6ix9ine cannot lie about this one. And he's actually been pretty quiet about the failure of his album, which is surprising because he's always so vocal about everything else. He's continued to try to stir up controversy in true 6ix9ine fashion and reach out to news publications. But unlike his past efforts, that controversy isn't translating to the music anymore. I do believe that he'll be around for a few more years, but the stuff he does to draw in attention is old. It's not funny, it was never funny to begin with. Sure, it might have been entertaining at times, but not in a comedic way, just in a shocking way. I believe this is just a gradual decline and a natural progression for him. First of all, good artists who tend to have long careers switch up their style, not only musically but aesthetically. 6ix9ine does not have the depth or artistic range to pull that off. Sure, he might try a new flow every now and then, but he always goes back to his uninspired signature space. Secondly, antics and drama get old. Yes, there have been artists that shock people, but it's usually always tied into their art, and they also use that shock factor to evolve as an artist. 6ix9ine, on the other hand, is a legitimate criminal, and his antics have gotten him in legal trouble. Third of all, his music is just not good at all. I have said in the past I think he has some bops, but to simplify what I really mean is his listenable songs are always tied to a featured artist, like Nicki Minaj for example, who actually carries the songs herself and tends to make them her own. Personally, I've never actually been interested in 6ix9ine as a person or artist. He couldn't possibly think that he could continue the same old bad behavior and antics and constantly release garbage music and still keep people interested. Tattletale's a big tattle failure. You can't feel bad for someone like him. He brought it upon himself.